Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Amy Austin.
And I'm Clay Yeager. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Athletics.
The soccer team finished up the regular season with a 14-5 record. With this record, the team secured the number 2 seed for the Sun Belt Conference tournament, and this exceeded the team's goals for the year.
We've had a great season so far, but it all comes down to this. You lose a game and you're out, you win a game and you keep going on.
Headed to the Sun Belt Conference tournament as the number 2 seed, the soccer team is looking to add more wins to their 14-5 record. And in order to do that, head coach Jason Hamilton said his team has to believe that they will win.
A matter of kind of changing the culture a little bit and getting them to believe in themselves and getting them to play just a little bit harder, and knowing that even as much success that we had is you can't just show up. So we continue to work harder every day.
Chelsea Williams said she and her team are more than excited for the upcoming tournament. They're looking to win it all.
We're so pumped. We're definitely looking, obviously, to win it, and definitely I think we should. There should be no doubt why we shouldn't, because I think we're definitely the better team against all these teams. Like if we come out and play and do what we need to do, then there should be no doubt why we shouldn't beat these teams. So we're all excited. So it's really comes down to who wants it more.
Troy's first opponent will be UL Lafayette, who they defeated earlier this season 2-0. But Hamilton said this game is going to come down to who makes a mistake.
They score a lot of goals. We don't give up a lot of goals, so it's kind of going to be a chess match. I think they were top 2 in the conference in scoring, and we were top 2 in the conference in goals against. So it's going to be a chess match of who can execute their game plan and stick to the things that they do. And someone's going to have to make a mistake at some point. Hopefully, we're on the positive side of that.
The soccer team opened up play in the Sun Belt Conference Championship Tournament earlier this week. The Trojans took on UL Lafayette in the first round of the tournament. The Trojans defeated the Raging Cajuns 1-0 as they opened up their first tournament game. The first half of the game was scoreless as the two teams kept fighting back and forth. In the second half, the Trojans came out determined. In the 58th minute, junior Alyssa Jones scored from midfield and beat the UL Lafayette keeper. Jones scored the solo point for the Trojans and helped secure the victory. This marked the first time Troy has ever won a game in the conference tournament in program history.
It's huge. It feels so good. We've worked all season and all 19 games leading up to this, and that's all. The beginning of the season, our first goal was to make it to the conference and make history and win it for the first game, so that now that we've accomplished that, it just feels really good. The morale is really, really high, and we're all really excited.
The team will take on Texas State in round 2 of the conference tournament.
The Trojan football team's struggles continue as they took on Sun Belt newcomer Georgia Southern on ESPN as an anemic offensive performance led the Trojans' 8th loss of the season. Troy was only able to muster 154 yards of total offense in a 42-10 loss to the Eagles in Statesboro Thursday night. The Trojans only had 9 first downs in comparison to the Eagles' 28 first downs. The usual pass-happy Trojans only netted 13 passing yards in the contest. Troy's only touchdown came in a late drive capped off by a 3-yard touchdown run by Kari Franklin. Franklin led the Trojans on the ground with the rushing yards of 64 on 8 carries and the solo touchdown. Head coach Larry Blaney contributes the win to Georgia Southern because he said they're the best in the Sun Belt.
You look back on the game and we probably played the best team in the league, in my opinion right now, as far as what they do. They've got an offensive machine and they're good on defense. They're probably good as anybody in the league on defense that I've seen. Anyhow, still hadn't seen ULL, but a little bit on tape. But these guys are they're loaded for the bear in the Sun Belt.
The Trojans take on Georgia State on Saturday beginning at 2 p.m. in Veterans Memorial Stadium.
On Sunday, the cross-country team competed at the Sun Belt Cross Country Championships. The men's and women's team both finished in 9th. Sophomore Michaela Hodges led the Trojans with the best time and her personal best in the women's 5K. Hodges' time was 18 minutes and 19 seconds, putting her in 29th place. Junior Julia Ostendorf took 31st place with a time of 18 minutes and 29 seconds. And in the men's 8K race, freshman Dylan Ogborn led for the Trojans. Ogborn finished with a time of 27 minutes and 9 seconds to finish in 45th place, closely followed by sophomore Sean Kent with a time of 27 minutes and 23 seconds. Head coach Elliott Blount said his team is young and didn't perform to the best of their abilities.
Took ninth. I think if we got a little bit more competitive in the middle of part of that race, about with a K left to go, we would have probably, had the ability to jump up 1 or 2 spots. The men definitely didn't we didn't play to our strength, and that was running together. And, we got strung out pretty early. It was a very intense race, but it's a very young team as well. Not to make excuses for us, but I don't think we were up to matching the intensity that, the other teams bring.
The Sun Belt Conference tournament concluded the cross-country team's season.
The men's golf team completed the intercollegiate at the Grove last week, coming in second place behind Ohio State. The Trojans entered the final round with a 4-shot lead led by Jared Betcher with an even par round. However, Ohio State shot 7 under to leap Troy and win the team title. Players such as Philip Brennan shot a 75 and finished tied for 28th overall. Betcher, who led the Trojans, had 4 birdies as he played under 9 holes, coming in tied for 5th. Tolver Dozier finished 14th place after shooting .222 for the tournament, while Luke Moser tied for 15th and Jake Tucker tied for 18th place. Even though Troy finished in the top 5 in every tournament, head coach Matt Terry says hopefully his team can keep performing well after winter break.
We still have to continue to work and go through our processes and get everything done in the right manner, preparing for tournaments. We play again mid-February at Houston, and we can't have too much downtime because that's going to be upon us before we know it. We'll get back from Christmas, get back to work, and hopefully have that same form we finished with right now today, and go forward and continue to play better every week.
The Trojans will be back in action in February for the spring.
The volleyball team headed to Arkansas to face 2 Sun Belt Conference foes over the past weekend. The team opened Friday night against Arkansas State, where it fell 3-0. Junior Darby Griff had 11 kills for Troy and no errors. The Red Wolves had 49 kills in comparison to Troy's 37 kills. However, the Trojans had 19 errors in comparison to Arkansas State's 9. Then on Saturday, Troy was swept by the Sun Belt leader UALR. The UALR Trojans posted 38 kills to Troy's 26. Maria Zelinovich had the most kills for the Trojans with a total of 6, followed by Griff with 5. Allie Dowdell performed well defensively for the Trojans as she had 16 digs. The errors were what hurt Troy, as it had 22 errors to UALR's 13. And head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick said his team competed hard and did well with the new lineup.
Line up together against the team, and we can do as much as we want in practice, but it's totally different when you get against another team. So we did pretty well considering. We competed hard and played 2 really good schools. So we had opportunities to maybe steal a game from each one of them.
The volleyball team has 2 home games over the weekend to finish out their home games for the regular season.
The women's tennis team completed play at the Roberta Allison Fall Classic held by the University of Alabama. Junior Trang Hoon picked up the solo win for the Trojans as she won a consolation singles match. Hoon defeated Eleanor Grossman 6-1 and 6-2. Sinai Oda fell 6-4 and 6-1 in her singles match. Hoon and Oda performed doubles for the Trojans but fell to Ball State 8-4 and to Mississippi State 8-1. The Trojans will be back in the court starting in spring next year.
With a new facility, a new field, and a new coaching staff, the softball program is in a complete revamping period. And earlier, Courtney Addison sat down with Beth Mullins, who is only Troy softball's 2nd head coach in school history.
I want to be a winner at everything we do, and that's, in the classroom, on the field, in the community.
To say Coach Mullins has high expectations would be an understatement. But another key factor to the success of any program is energy, and that is something Mullins says she is going to demand on and off the field. High energy is something modeled from a former mentor at Mississippi State, Van Studeman.
Just when it comes to the energy part that I'm trying to kind of bring here, she is just the epitome of bringing energy and showing excitement and getting her kids to love to play the game of softball, and you see it. And when you watch Mississippi State play, and my goal is to, when you watch Troy softball, you're going to feel the excitement that the girls feel when they're playing.
The game of softball is known for being a fast-paced game, and that is exactly what Mullins intends to bring.
It's going to be fast, 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 fast. That's how I want to run it. We have a great group of girls that I think these fans are going to want to be invested in.
Most sports fans anticipate knowing who the #1 pitcher is and getting to know the depth chart, but Mullins says there will be no #1 or #2 on her team. her team will run on a staffing system instead. She says this is something that she feels will push her team even more.
They know the better they are, the better their teammate is, and they're only going to be as good as the next person.
Courtney Addison, Troy, Trojan Sports Now.
Mullen's first season with the softball team will begin in the spring, but fall practice has already been underway.
The men and women's tennis teams officially wrapped up their individual tournaments for the fall season. On the women's side of the court, overall had a successful season. In notable tournaments, Sine Oda advanced all the way to round 16 in the main singles draw in the ITA Regional Southern Regional Championships. Also in the ITA Southern Regional Championship, Trang Huynh went to round 16 after winning her 2 matches. On the men's side of the court, players such as Giovanni Samaha and Pablo Marino were unstoppable duo as they won a semifinal in Flight A doubles in the CL Varnum Memorial Invitational. Daniel Bustamante advanced the final round in the pre-qualifying round in the ITA All-American Championships. Head coach Scott Kidd says he is proud of his players and is looking forward to the spring season.
I'm excited, actually. I was talking to Victor after the tournament. We have one more tournament to go, maybe 2. But I was like, this is really interesting now that we're starting to kind of unfold and see the, where we're at as a team and starting to see what positions, we got an idea. But, never know. January is a long way away. We still have a lot of work to do, and, we'll just take it 1 week at a time.
The men and women will start their spring season in January. Still to come on Trojan Sports Now, we'll have a preview of the football team's next matchup at home.
But first, I had the chance to sit down with women's basketball head coach Chanda Rigby. Stick around for more Trojan Sports Now.